Welcome back to Across the Board with Ian the Colonel here on hawkradio.org and acrosstheboardradio.com. Let's talk about up-and-coming bands. One of my favorites in the hardcore metal, post-metal apocalyptic, whatever you want to say. You know, there are all these genres these days. One of my favorite bands, period, coming up out of anywhere, I got to say, is this or The Apocalypse.
What up?
Right? And there's Ricky with us right now, lead vocals for the band. Ricky, welcome to the show, brother.
How are you doing?
Excellent, man. You know, we love this job. We get to talk to the best bands in the entire world, and you guys actually happen to be from, I don't know, maybe 4 hours from us. You're out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, the Amish country there. A lot of metal coming out of there, huh?
Yeah, I'm actually on my way over there right now. Natalie said that you were going to buy me a new bike.
Absolutely. I was going to buy you a horse, but if you want a bike, that's fine. You know, whatever you got to do, man. So,
well, I needed to chase down the horse. It got out.
I assume you've been up early churning butter, so you know we appreciate the time and you know finding a phone and being able to use that. So, but you know, seriously, this is The Apocalypse. You guys are a fantastic band. I think one of the things that sets you apart is, you know, you're technically so sound. Musically, the lyrics, everything is just timed out so well. You're such a technical band. Where does that, we appreciate it, man. Where does that expertise come from? Just a lot of practice? Are you gifted?
I think it's just the way we write. We put a lot of time into writing. But like we always sorted out with this goal of I don't even know why, but we do a lot of the things. We record ourselves before we go into the studio. So really early on in our band, we kind of got this interest in really structuring things out to have a very precise flow to it. We always try to bring back parts, and if we change keys, we always try to make it make sense. It's kind of funny because really we only ever had one guy in the band who was a trained musician, and the rest of us were just kind of trying to pick up off of it to sort of be able to add into it. So you know, we have 5 guys that write a lot, and we all care, and I care a lot about my lyrics and stuff. So I think a lot of it's just we put a lot of time into it. We're not the type of band that can just sit down and bust a song out.
And which member of the band was formally trained?
Grant, our old drummer. His mom actually wrote. She's responsible for a whole study in the field of music called music therapy.
Really?
That's her course that she teaches, and she wrote the book on, kind of.
Wow. And you know, Grant's playing is actually what attracted Chris Adler to the band.
Yeah.
You know, and just an incredibly sick band. You guys work with Chris from some band called Lamb of God. Heard of them, I think. You know. And
yeah, something like that. Just a couple old guys that are like kind of doing the metal thing.
And you guys worked with Josh Wilbur on the last album as well. And we've actually had Too Late the Hero and Jared Wilbur on the show as well. So. Yeah,
I love Jared.
Yeah, he's hilarious, man. Another you know, great band. But yeah, Chris is doing some good things over there. But talk about what it was like working with Chris and with Josh in the recording process.
Yeah, I kind of feel like me and Josh are pretty similar people. Me and Josh got along pretty well, but I had to record my vocals with him, and the guitars were being done in another room for the majority of the sessions that we're doing. Chris would kind of just show up at the studio, and he was kind of like he was sort of like a sports coach. You know, he'd show up and just be like, "Oh, I like all this. Cool. You guys want to get Mexican food?" And be like, "Yeah,
nice.
That sounds about right."
Right.
But no, he was like a calming presence in the room. He was a very good guy to be around.
You know, you have all this, and you do a lot of these things yourself. You're almost like a self-made band. Is that the kind of way you ideally want to stay, or would you rather get a label and have someone kind of telling you what to do?
I don't know. We actually we spoke with them. We got a bid from a manager that wanted to pick us up a while ago, and all names aside, it was like he's kind of a big deal type individual, but he's also the type of person that gets really involved in the band's theme and lyrics and this and this and this. And we didn't end up going with him because it was sort of like, you know, when we were looking at it, there was the whole aspect of I don't know if Ricky could handle that.
Oh.
But you know, it's lot of people who have become successful that want to tell younger bands what to do because they think it's going to work still,
Okay.
and they forget that if they came out with their product in this year, nobody would give a shit.
Right.
Which is kind of what makes music cool. Not to diss on anybody who used to be big or still is big, but one of the aspects of music is just really cultural. Like,
yeah,
Wow.
Dubstep really is kind of the same thing. And I agree that it's nice that bands can play sort of whatever they want, although sometimes it does negatively affect them commercially. One recent example I can think of is that Lulu album that Metallica did that sold maybe 3 copies because it was god-awful, let's just be honest.
wait, which album was this?
The one they just did with Lou Reed.
Oh, yeah. I didn't care.
Exactly, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, nobody knows about it, man. Yeah.
Like, those geriatric can do whatever they want, man. Like, I feel like at this point, like, I'm living in my grandma's house. She's living in a care facility. You know, I used to kind of help caretaker, and, you know, she wandered about a mile down the road when one of the caretakers was about 15 minutes late on the way over here. We needed like 7 different people because she would get outside and, you know, somebody was running late one time. Somebody didn't wait for that person to show up. She wanders like a mile down the road with the Yorkie and then trips and rolls down a hill, and it takes, I think, 14 police officers to find her. You know, anyway, which brings us to Metallica. I feel like everybody's just watching them wander around now.
They're that grandmother.
You watch the DVDs and you see those guys try to talk about their values or this or that. It's kind of like just, you know, watching like your shell-shocked grandpa tell war stories. You're just like, oh yeah, you didn't want to do the bit on the radio because why? Oh, because it didn't follow your artistic vision, which
Right.
is actually just, you know, pretending you can still drink 4 beers and go and your brains out for 2 hours, apparently.
And, you know, but again, all of these are valid, very, very valid comparisons. I don't see anything wrong with the way that you're looking at them. And that kind of brings me to part of what is attractive about This or the Apocalypse is the band expresses its feelings, I think, through a lot of their music as well, and it comes through.
Oh, cool, thanks.
I mean, do you think that that's part of the appeal as well of you guys?
I don't know what the appeal is of us. I'll be like in somebody's car and they'll like turn my band off. Like, turn it off.
What kind of bands do you listen to? I mean, don't say Lamb of God, obviously, but, you know, we know you love them. Everybody does. But, you know, who do you respect in the game
I'm
now?
a big hip-hop guy. I listen.
Yeah?
I love, like, all, like, the Wu-Tang and, you know, like, anything off Def Jux Records from New York. Like, LP, that rapper is, like, one of my biggest inspirations. Everything he does is awesome. I like Aesop Rock and Immortal Technique, and so I listen to that whole spectrum of things.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to heavy stuff, I really listen to a lot of I like a lot of hardcore bands and kind of more emotional hardcore stuff like Defeater and Hope
nice.
Conspiracy. Like kind of more of the punky hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit more like heartfelt, and that's generally what I've been listening to a lot lately. I try to stay out of my own genre just because I don't want to be ripping everybody off. But one band in our genre that I did really catch on to, which is funny, is Bring Me the Horizon. I really like that band a lot.
Great band, absolutely.
You see, I never dug any of their older stuff, and me and Rodney, our guitarist, lives at my house, and we downloaded their new CD because we wanted to see how much we hated it while we were drinking. And we're listening to it, and 3 songs in, I'm like, do you love this more than anything? He was like, yeah, this is awesome. Like,
No, what were you
this
drinking?
rules.
What were you drinking? That could have, changed your.
Maybe. I
perception.
think it was just some type of, like, craft IPA beer or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, that's not going to change it too much. Then liquor, hardcore, I can see it, but yeah, just an IPA is not going to jack up your
No, it
senses
still
too
stands,
much.
though. The next day we listen to it again, we're, like, driving around, like, wow, this is awesome.
No, you said your genre. What do you consider your genre? Because again, there's so
I guess
many
you call it, like,
subs.
the metalcore.
Metalcore,
like,
yeah, I can see
when
that.
When you come down to it, you know, your August Burns Reds and As I Lay Dyings and, you know, that kind of world of bands.
As I Lay Dying, absolutely. For good friends of the show as well. Love those guys. We had
Oh,
Jordan
yeah,
on.
great band. I really do like all those bands. I just typically find myself, I guess now that I'm 25, sometimes it feels like work because I've been to I don't know how many shows. And so I'm so used to hearing that type of music that sometimes when it turns on in somebody's car, I just all of a sudden just feel like I'm working.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay. I can see that.
Don't look now. AARP is lingering just around the corner for you.
Yeah, 25, man. Come on. I mean, you can rent a car now. That's good. You're at that point, you know. We'll talk about new projects that we can hear from you guys, and when can we see you on tour? I mean, you would fit perfectly on, you know, like, Rockstar, you know, Mayhem or Warped Tour, one of those, you know, great tours out there. When can we see you out?
Let those guys know that.
I know, right? Well, listen,
We're
tight.
We'll fill them this summer.
Yeah, we're tight with the people at Vans and the Warped Tour and all that, so we'll definitely put you guys in there. But
oh man, we were trying to shove it down their throats, man. We wanted Warped Tour. We're like, we want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, what are the projects coming up? You know, where can we see you?
We have a Chinese tour coming up soon, and then we've been waiting to start promoting our new record, which is the next thing that I think is going to, you know, lead to our next string of tours and everything that we're going to be doing. So we've been playing it kind of cool. In the meantime, we all have been like I've been home for longer than I've ever been home in the past 7 years. Actually, I've been raising a puppy, but all of us have been like kind of saving up again and kind of reestablishing ourselves. But we recorded the CD in January.
What's the name on this thing?
It's not named yet.
Okay.
Untitled. I haven't even named the song titles. I wanted to wait to see the artwork before we finalize the name. Like, we have a list of names, and we have a couple that we like, but my roommate Saul, he's doing the artwork for it. He's done some of his recent projects include he did designs for Megadeth and Crosby, Stills and Nash and Beastie Boys and
Heard of 'em.
Asking Alexandria and all these huge projects.
Nice.
That's interesting that I've never heard anyone wait until the album artwork is done to start naming the songs. That's
I like
interesting.
Well, most of them, I guess most of them have names we've been calling them.
Whatever you guys have been doing so far, man, it definitely works, and excited to hear this new album.
Thank you.
What does it sound like? You know, with the, you know, obviously, you know, Grant's no longer around, so you have a different drummer and all that kind of stuff. What does that dynamic sound like?
It's a little bit different. I would call it. I would say the emotions on the CD are a lot bigger. Some of the songs are really, really, really kind of sad sounding with a lot of really kind of like bluesy instrumentation on it, and
Nice.
some of them are just way heavier than anything we've ever done. So it's definitely a unique record. The singing isn't as prominent on it. There's a couple songs with some pretty big singing parts, but it's mostly just kind of me flipping out on it, and it's a little bit more gritty.
Real quick, you said earlier that you were working on a lot of production for other bands as well. Give us a band real quick that's up and coming that you've worked with that probably no one's heard of yet, but everyone needs to know about.
Well, right now, none of the stuff that I've worked on them with is up yet, but my project that I've been working on is a band called From Under the Willow from Lancaster,
Okay.
and they're a younger band, and I gave the vocalist vocal lessons, and the dude was working like 3 or 4 hours a day on his vocals. It was like he showed up at my house. He was like, I don't know how to exhale scream yet. I do inhales. I'm like, oh, that's terrible for you. Let's work on that. And he shows up a week later and he's already got it down. And now he's like, I want to learn how to sing. I've been working on that. And he couldn't sing. I'm like, well, try this. And shows up a week later. He's singing on key. It was like every time he showed up, he was a million times better than he was before. So yeah, them, and just recorded a song for one of my favorite bands from Lancaster called Consumer, and they're like if you took Norma Jean and mixed them with The Sword.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now you're talking. Norma Jean,
Yeah,
what happened to
they're
that? That's a good.
What's up?
I said Norma Jean. That's another great band that I haven't heard from in a while, but good call there.
Yeah. So they're cool.
Nice. We have to hook us up with a couple of those bands when they come up as well and get them out there.
Nice.
Let me ask you this, Rick. If you know, this is a perfect question for you, actually.
Yeah.
Not only is this the year that the apocalypse is supposedly coming around, the band's this is the apocalypse. We ask this question of every band, but it's perfect for you. If the apocalypse comes, let's just say you knew the world had 10 to 15 minutes left in it. What is the last song that you would want to hear and or perform? Yours or anybody else's, but the last song, and you can hear it or perform it.
Oh man, it's got to be something off Wu-Tang. I can't even decide though.
Really?
It's got to be Bring the Mother Ruckus or something like that.
That's a good one to go out to.
You got to go out being awesome.
I like that. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a unique answer.
I
too.
mean,
I like
if
that.
you're gonna go, you're gonna go big. You know.
Well, listen, where can I know you have a Facebook, any other place that the fans, again, people listening around the world right now, where can they keep up? People in China are listening right now, so where can they keep up with all things This Is the
Our
Apocalypse?
Facebook is our kind of our home now.
Okay.
I know we might look into doing more.
Oh, yeah, we'll try to get you a Warped Tour. If you get on that one, something sick like that, I'm sure everybody would be awesome to hang out with there. As long as there's bands
Yeah,
stay
no, I
together.
heard it's like you get like a barbecue every single night. And stuff.
Yeah,
That
and
sounds
different
awesome.
bands play backstage. It's pretty sick for the other bands. It's nice. But Rick, listen, we appreciate it. This is the Apocalypse. Stay tuned to our show here, and we'll keep you updated on their tours, the new album, As Yet Untitled, when that comes out for sure as well. We appreciate the
call
time.
it.
What's that?
That's what you should call it.
As Yet Untitled. That's pretty tight. Yeah, I like that. It's not bad.
Yeah, I know. Maybe we'll use that. You never know.
Roll with it. Yeah, just give us a producer credit, man, or something. There we go. But
Yeah, no, I'll give you guys a couple points on the record.
absolutely.
Nice.
I'm in. All right, we'll be back here in a few minutes with Ian the Colonel on Across the Board Radio here on hawkradio.org.
And acrossboardradio.com.